Shadows of the Heart. Chapter 1. A Chance Encounter. I stood at the edge of the vast, oceanic canvas, my toes curled around the weathered wooden plank as the salty air caressed my skin and carried whispers from a world that had grown deaf to my existence. The relentless tide was a mirror to my soul. Ebbing and flowing, yet never truly changing, much like me. The beach, with its vastness and solitude, was the only place where I felt alive amidst the suffocating silence of my life after Alessandro. Each wave crashing against the shore echoed his name in my mind's rhythm, a relentless reminder of what once was. Love, passion, laughter shared under star-studded skies. The remnants of those memories now taunted me with their absence. As I closed my eyes, allowing the sun's warmth to seep through my eyelids, a figure emerged from the fading light. He had rugged features, an untamed mane of hair that kissed his shoulders, and eyes that held the depth of countless stories. The way he observed me was unnerving yet comforting. It was as if he could see beyond this broken facade I wore like armor. Ethan's presence awakened a long-dormant sense of vulnerability within my chest. "Hello," he said softly when close enough, his voice an unexpected ray piercing the gloom that had enveloped me for months. "I haven't seen another soul out here since morning." His words were laced with a tender curiosity and a hint of melancholy, mirroring the turmoil brewing in my heart. "No one comes here at this hour," I stammered, the wind whipping my hair into a frenzy as if echoing my inner turmoil. The truth, though, was far from that simplicity. It was too painful to share the reason behind my nocturnal treks. Love's loss and heartbreak etched on sand drenched by moonlight. He nodded sympathetically. "Solitude can be a cruel mistress." Ethan approached me cautiously, not as if I were fragile but as though sensing the same unspoken understanding between us. His eyes lingered on the sketchbook clutched tightly in my hand before settling back to meet mine. "What brings you here so late?" The words tumbled out of their own accord. "Love. Loss. It seems the only thing I can draw anymore." The sketchbook contained sketches of Alessandro. Fleeting glimpses of him. As if capturing them would bridge the chasm between my past and present heartache. Ethan's hand extended, and our palms brushed in a comforting handshake. His touch was firm yet gentle. "May I?" he asked, tilting his head toward the book. The trust he exuded drew me closer to the edge of vulnerability. With shaking hands, I passed it over. He flipped through pages teeming with memories etched on paper. Laughter, sunsets, 1,000 moments from our life that now felt like an illusion. "I never knew love could be so beautiful," Ethan murmured, each turn revealing more about him as well as myself. "These aren't just sketches, they're the heartbeat of your soul." His eyes met mine again, brimming with compassion and curiosity alike. In his gaze, I saw a reflection of the shattered remains of my own heart. A poignant understanding that spoke volumes without words. "I'm Lila," I managed to whisper as dusk claimed the sky, painting the horizon in hues reminiscent of our first date at sunset. Ethan introduced himself in kind. His features were strong yet gentle, like the ocean's embrace on a moonlit night. We talked as if we'd known each other for years. Shared stories woven from the fabric of heartache and longing. Every word felt like an old friend or a distant memory come alive. As the stars began their celestial ballet, Ethan invited me to his cottage nearby. Warmth enveloped us as we walked side by side toward a small abode nestled in dunes overlooking the sea. Inside, the room was cluttered with books and sketches of people's stories. Tales lived by those who dared love openly despite society's constraints on love between men. "These are my friends," he said, his voice laced with warmth that seeped into the marrow of my bones. I felt seen, heard in a way Alessandro hadn't been able to be when grief took him from me. The evening passed like pages turning without warning, each new chapter revealing more of us. We spoke of love lost and dreams pursued but never seized. Ethan's eyes bore witness to my pain while mirroring it with his own. The depth in them seemed to say he understood that there were some wounds no sun could heal alone. I found myself sharing stories I thought long buried. A lifetime of firsts, lasts, the bittersweet taste of passion. He pulled out his guitar and played a melody I'd heard before but never named, the song Alessandro once sang in whispers during our moonlit strolls along this same beach. Time seemed to bend as the notes resonated with my grief, carrying me back to the time when love was my anchor. Ethan's eyes sparkled in understanding, and he strummed a softer melody. An offering of solace, a promise that there were still harmonies worth listening for. As stars became diamonds scattered across the velvet canvas above, I couldn't hold back the question, "Do you believe it's possible to fall in love again?" Ethan leaned close, our lips brushing against each other with a tenderness that stole my breath. It was an invitation as much as acceptance of what we had just shared. Promises yet unspoken, hearts beating on separate frequencies. In his arms, wrapped by the ocean's whispers and the weightlessness of newfound camaraderie, I felt free for the first time since Alessandro's passing. The world seemed to bend towards us, offering a glimpse of hope where there was none. In that moment, Ethan and I had transcended chance encounters and become soul companions. Two lost souls finding solace in each other. Yet, as dawn crept in and painted the sky with golden hues, he whispered his own secret before leaving for the day. "I've never loved openly. It's a fear etched into my heart." The weight of his admission echoed through me. With a nod, I acknowledged the shared burden, our shared scars. "Will you come back?" Ethan asked, promising me in that single question that he would be there to weather both the present and the demons I had yet to confront. My throat constricted as I nodded. An unspoken vow between us. To find love without fear's shackles. He vanished into the dawning light, leaving me with more questions than answers. I awoke before dawn to the haunting notes of his guitar drifting through the open window, luring me back to Ethan's cottage. My heart pounded in anticipation as I entered the room where he had left me his number. An offering of hope in a sketchbook filled with verses penned by strangers who dared love. The first message arrived as morning broke. "Meet me here at sundown." For an hour that felt like eternity, our fingers danced across screens, crafting messages woven into love letters between strangers connected by the unseen threads of pain and longing. Chapter 2. Unspoken Promises. With every exchange, Ethan's words became my shelter from the tempests within. His stories intertwined with mine as we discovered a shared passion for art and music. Sunsets on his beach were our appointed rendezvous point. Brief moments where life's rhythm hummed in harmony. His voice painted the sky, I sketched love letters that mirrored his verses. Our words formed an unspoken language, a bridge spanning two lives. As days turned into weeks, Ethan taught me the chords of Alessandro's song. The first time I strummed it solo, tears fell, but they were no longer despair. Not entirely. He'd become my sheltered harbor from what I thought was impossible, new love without fear, without pain. But then a note from an unknown number shook both our worlds. "I can't keep meeting you here." The thief of happiness had struck again. Ethan, ever the guardian angel, arrived with guitar and songs composed to chase fear away. Us chasing the sun as we walked along the shore where our stories began. One hand intertwined with another, fingers lacing in a dance that said, "I'm here." "What's your greatest dream?" he asked under the sea-swept sky. I confessed my wish for love without shackles, for his voice to ring out proudly on stage. His dreams were no different. Be himself without apology. Underneath the same moon where Alessandro and I once made promises, Ethan asked me to marry him with words. A promise whispered among the waves that held us captive was all it took for me to say, yes. The ocean roared in approval as we sealed our love with a kiss, hands entwined on the beach where we first found solace in each other's stories. Days blurred into weeks of sketches and songs, life intertwined us like the lines etched on those pages. Ethan prepared for a stage, and I for what came next. The courage to face life as he did. One fateful day, he stood before an audience with our love ballad. The room fell silent, then erupted in applause. He'd found his voice, so had I, through sketches of love that bridged worlds. Chapter 3. A Heart United. Ethan's success was my sanctuary, yet it wasn't until a letter from Alessandro's lover arrived that the truth began to unravel. That he still lived. The shock shook me from an anchor we never knew existed in each other. It threatened what we built on our beach of shared heartache and dreams. Alessandro found solace in Ethan before me, leaving him with a parting gift. My sketches. He showed up at sundown, the day after I learned of his return. Alessandro's eyes bore a sorrow so profound that words were lost to the wind. He held my hand instead. There were no recriminations, there was only love and gratitude for Ethan. An unexpected solace, the realization that our shared longing had led him home. In this quiet moment by the ocean, I found peace in the man who gave me new reasons to hold on, and the friend who showed me what it truly meant to love without fear of judgment or reprisal. Alessandro nodded before disappearing into the fading light, leaving Ethan with sketches of our story for all time. Ethan's hands cradled my face, a promise of forever that echoed in the waves and the whispers of the sea. For now, we held on to each other, entwined as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting shadows of what could have been amidst what was. An unfamiliar peace settled, not one of loss, but acceptance. The sketchbook, once a bridge between us, became our promise. Sketches yet untold. In the stillness that followed, Ethan's fingers brushed my cheek and he whispered his eternal question, "Will you stay?" A nod felt like an offering to Alessandro as much as it did a declaration of love for this new dawn. The sketchbook was our sanctuary now, pages filled with art that documented our journey from pain to unbridled love. In the years that followed, Ethan's voice resonated on stages, my sketches adorned galleries. We built a life where love had no labels, only endless melodies and verses weaved together by strangers connected in love. Our days were now symphonies of art and song, our nights entwined under stars that bore witness to every chapter of us. Love's eternal melody. Alessandro watched from afar, his love being the catalyst for this new dawn. In a world still learning to embrace love beyond conventions, I found solace with Ethan, my shelter in sketches yet untold.